Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, little Laker basketball. I don't have anything in mind. Obviously, you want to just commend the Los Angeles Lakers for finding a way into the ninth place spot in the Western Conference. But as far as like what prompted me to turn on the camera, the love for my team. I really didn't have any specific thoughts, but I'm pretty sure there's been stuff I've been gathering throughout the day. So I just wanted to come here and just express whatever comes out. First of all, I want to give acknowledgement that Darvin Ham is doing a good job overall. Even though I've been one to say I want to fire him and all kinds of different stuff. When you look at where the team is and how the team has performed, and you zoom all the way out, they're doing good, and you have to give him his sort of the credit. His aspect of the credit. I ain't got the right word, but you know what I'm trying to say. You got to give him his share of the credit. And when it comes down to it, he's not devoid of that. And you see how hard the team plays. I think that's where we can really give him his credit. You look at how difficult it is to get, players to play hard in circumstances when the chemistry isn't right. How difficult it is to get players to play hard when they're young, when they don't have everyone doesn't seem to have its priorities in order as it pertains to individual goals and players trying to get contracts, stuff like that. And you still manage to have your team, even in the midst of some disadvantages as it pertains to choices made by the coach himself. In spite of all that, he didn't lose the locker room, and he didn't keep them guys feeling like not running through a wall for him. That, in and of itself, is special. And it has to be acknowledged here. Because I'll tell you right now, this is my opinion. I don't think many coaches can make the schematic decisions and have them not be successful or considered be mistakes that Darvin has made this season and keep the locker room. I don't know of too many. Because a lot of times that's what ends up going wrong. Even if the roster is already disadvantaged to begin with, because we already saw that with Frank Vogel last year. He was making schematic decisions that made the team not as good, in my humble opinion. The results showed us that. And I think the locker room was lost. I think that. But Darvin, he got this team playing hard every single night. The first unit that we had before the trade played hard every night. And this unit here, after the trade, is playing hard every night. And at the end of the day, he needs his credit for that. And I think it's one of the biggest reasons why this team is continuing to fight. You see how fast we turned it around. Start the season with the roster beforehand when we were in that big hole and the team started pushing forward. And of course you want to give the players credit. But I think Darvin Ham has done what he needed to do to keep guys believing in the team overall mission, which is to play hard, be feisty, and continue to work on its own weaknesses against its own weaknesses to build its own strengths. And I think that we've done a good job of that now. And that is a trait worth holding on to. So that's something I want to do here. I want to just give Darvin a little credit because the team's doing well. We're in ninth place. And I don't know that every coach could have got us there, especially given the circumstances. So that's important. It's very, very important. Anthony Davis, you want to give him credit once again for holding down the fort while Brown is gone, fighting through his injury with the foot. Coming back, he was only kind of rusty for the first couple of games on the offensive end. On the defensive end, he was solid the whole time since coming back, and now he's gotten himself into a rhythm, and really continued to earn his stripes and gain on his legacy. I think this was a big game for Anthony Davis's career yesterday. I really do. I think that added to his legacy in a way when you consider all the stuff that's going on with the health and all of the stuff about how his foot was doing and all of that. Having played the way that he played to start the season, middle of the season rather, when he was really going off with the 50-point games and the 20 rebounds and all those things. It was one of those things where you need the Lakers to win this game. Obviously, you need them to win every game they're in, and you just needed Anthony Davis to step forward and be the superstar pantheon great that he can be. And if doing so, he could really mask a lot of these teams' concerns, including all of this going on with the injuries, and put ourselves in a position to reach our goal, which is make it to the playoffs. And so if he doesn't play the way that he's playing, I don't think we get it done. We are a good team, but we're missing a lot. And so with D'Lo out, Braun out, Bamba out, we just needed Anthony Davis to occupy that paint in a very demonstrative way, rebounding the ball and also defending. And he's done that. And then on top of that, he's held down a massive amount of the scoring load, which is always his job, and he's going to handle that. And then from there, also kind of getting involved in passing and trying to make plays for others and trying to be mindful that we need playmaking to come from his position while Braun is out, while D'Angelo's out. So I've seen him make a concerted effort to do that, and it's not really a strength of his. And I think he's going to get better at it, which is what I'm really excited about in regards to him. So for me, I'm excited about where we're at. Always cautiously optimistic about health, but I'm really, really excited about the fact that we've put this team together to withstand injury, and we're seeing that. And that's exactly what I thought we would see when the trades were made. And I told you guys this is what I thought I would see. I was like, we're missing guys, but don't be surprised if we're still able to succeed. Because at the end of the day, I don't think we win and lose on LeBron James' scoring. I don't think we've even played with D'Angelo Russell enough to have missed him. Missing him is theoretical in a sense, because you haven't played with him but 3 games. So missing him is missing what it is he would otherwise provide. But as far as continuity, the team is used to running with Schroeder anyway. So it's one of those situations where it's like, you look at that situation, we're holding that down. Schroeder has been fantastic. Austin Reeves has stepped forward. One thing that I was thinking about today also was Austin Reeves. He has benefited greatly from the removal of Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook. That's what I'm seeing there. It's particularly Russell Westbrook's second unit production. He's making up for it in his own way, rebounding the ball and making plays and assists and things like that. Those were Russell's assists. Those 8 assists that he gave us last night, those are Russell's. He's just picked up the playmaking where Russell was left off, and I think that that's one of the reasons why I still don't fight tooth and nail about starting Austin Reeves. And I see Malik Beasley struggling to hit his shots, but I also see the fruit in him starting because he still takes so much of the defensive pressure off of others based on the fact that you have to play him so tight from behind the perimeter. I do think Austin Reeves is starting to gain similar type of respect because he's hitting such fantastic percentages, but I do not know that he gains that type of respect yet, and he doesn't spend that much time behind the arc in general in offensive situations to really garner that much respect behind the arc. Everybody knows Malik Beasley can shoot 10, 12 threes, so he just by nature, you're going to have to defend the Lakers a certain way when he's on the floor. So I know that's one of the reasons why Darvin Ham keeps him out there, but he just has to find a way, Malik Beasley that is, to hit shots and not miss too many. You are a shooter. We want you to shoot 11 shots, but you got to have a feel for when it's not coming along, because while you're trying to figure that out, you're throwing possessions away, and it's not, I don't know that Darvin Ham is really structuring what we're doing to cap Malik Beasley in any way. And I think that might be misguided in the long run if we don't see those shots start to fall. So that's where I'm at with it. I still support what we're doing in the starting lineup there. I don't think Lonnie is a better option for either starting in, over either two of them. But I do like Lonnie starting just the same because he's proven he can do some good things offensively starting the season, scoring like 28 and 30 points when we did start him at the shooting guard. So as long as he's starting at the shooting guard with offensive emphasis, Lonnie Walker is an excellent starter for us. But given the fact that we have these special needs defensively or offensively for us to kind of create space, Beasley's the guy. And then Austin Reeves coming off the bench works just fine because he can create that Russell Westbrook assist numbers and stuff like that we really, really need that production to keep our bench fresh. So that's what it is. It's not that anybody doesn't agree with those who are saying Austin should start over Malik Beasley currently. It's just about, in theory, how they would be defended differently and how that affects guys like Anthony Davis. So that's what I'm looking at there. Troy Brown has been phenomenal. We've really, really appreciated what we've seen out of him over the last 4 games. He had 3 games straight where he was really not so good, and then 4 games straight where he's been really, really good. So I know he's not a consistent player. And I'm hoping what we're seeing is not 3 in, 4 out, 3 in, 4 out, that kind of thing. It's just hard to tell with him. And so that's why I'm on a high with him. But I've been watching this all season, so I kind of almost expect the low to come next, and I just want to get ahead of it if it were to come, to say don't overplay him once we get to a point if it's like that, because we have to know he's like that right now. Yeah, he's playing well, boom, boom, boom. But if you go out there and give him 40 minutes on the wrong game, you're gonna have one of them bad games, and it's gonna cost you a game. And we've already had that happen. In fact, I think the Minnesota game may have been like that. So we got to pay attention to these type of things. We just don't want to lean on the cold hand too long. It kind of goes that way for us sometimes, and we've been able to get away with it because Anthony Davis is playing so well. So that's really what it is. I'm not alarmed by Vanderbilt. He hasn't had his best games as of late, but that doesn't mean anything. He's a hustle guy, and he just pops up with the ball in his hands, as I always say. So I like how he's been finishing as of late. I've been challenging him to work on his hands. Obviously, if it's a deficiency, it's a deficiency, but he does have to be able to catch the ball in better in traffic and stuff like that. So yeah, just continuing to see him and learn him is important to us. I'm really excited about the team. Obviously, a lot is being said about LeBron James today. Somebody accused him of taking some type of PEDs. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anything's going to happen, honestly, but it's worth noting that is being floated around, so we should be prepared if anything were to come down, trying to disrupt our focus as a team. It seems like something like that is trying to be thrown out into the air by someone somewhere. So I look to not be distracted by that. And so as we move forward, Dennis Schroeder is definitely somebody we have appreciated how he's played. He was 0 for 3 from behind the arc, so the three comes and goes. We want to see efficiency there, but we also appreciate the assist he gave us last night and the overall getting to the line, 7 for 7 hitting his free throws. That's underrated. It's one of those things where you never hear us complain about it when we're hitting them, but when we don't hit them, it's a massive deal. So let's just keep hitting them and pay attention to the fact that we did miss some clutch ones down the stretch of that game last night. Anthony Davis missed 2. Austin Reeves missed 1. We just got to make these free throws as we get closer to playoff time. We do not want to be overly impressed at the fact that we've been winning games, because we have to continue winning games. So if we were to go on any type of losing streak, all that we just did goes out the window. So we got to keep our focus and continue to stay hungry while we're on this natural high. So I know Laker fans are excited. Powell's night, Anthony went crazy. Guys are playing better just in general. Individual players are playing better than they normally do. These are things that can make you feel like you're better than you are. These things can make you feel like you've made the playoffs as opposed to still in a battle to fight. And right now, we are in a battle to fight. Teams can do things around us and send us right back to 13 if we miss out on these wins. We got a Toronto team coming in on Friday that has the exact same record as us and the exact same seeding as us as of right now. I think that could change over the next day or two, given the fact that teams are going to be playing around these two teams. But the point is, it tells you that we're both in the same boat. And so because of it, we need to be focused and understand that they're not that great of a team, but they still have fantastic defenders, wings, and all different types of players that can do a lot of high-level things, including a guy like Jakob Poeltl, who's been playing meaningless basketball for the last couple of years with the Spurs. Now he's playing for an opportunity to win something. I mean, like I said, Toronto's down here with us, but it's not meaningless. They're fighting for something, so I expect him to step forward and play well defensively. Scotty Barnes, defensively, even though Van Fleet is having a horrible year, if he's down there defensively, so we got to be very, very careful. Gary Trent Jr., defensive. This is a big matchup coming up. You got to ignore the records. You got to ignore what you think you know about the Raptors, and you just got to come in and beat them hard. They don't have as strong a bench as they normally do. I think they've gone a little thin over the last year or two with some of the decisions that they made. And like I said, certain players on their team are slumping. But we don't play well against Toronto usually. We usually do lose a game or two to the Toronto Raptors every year, it seems. So it's a game that I'm not alarmed by the fact that Toronto's coming in like, oh my God, we need to be careful. As in they're especially catered to beat us or something like that. But I know they have big players. I know they're coming into this building. I know Scotty was kicked out of the last game for the very first time in his career. And I just got a very, very strong feeling that they're going to come in and give us a battle, even though they're not playing that great a ball this season. I got a feeling they're going to try to disrupt what we're doing. So we don't want to be caught off guard by anybody. I don't want us to have any nights where we taking nights off. Every game, no matter who it's against, is a game we got to win. So that should be the motive. That should be the motto. That should be the understanding. I heard Anthony Davis mention that. He has that focus in his head. And I think that everybody's on the same page about that. So, I think the fans are happy today. We're really happy. We're on a high. But for me, I'm always thinking about what we got to do to keep from falling off of that high. And one of the things that comes to mind is continue to get in that fast break. We had 20 fast break points, if I'm not mistaken, last night. That is exactly what we needed. Because since we've made the trade, we haven't, and lost, of course, Braun to the injury, we ain't been able to get out in the fast break really at all. I mean, we've been under 10 fast break points just about every game I've seen. So for us to score that many and really see that type of success last night is something that I want to continue to see. It's got to get out there and run, man. We cannot allow teams to just render us as a half-court basketball club. We want to steal the ball from them and get out and run. So, yeah, that's also something that's going to be there. We didn't shoot the greatest from the field yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, under 50%. I think that sometimes it's a little scared by the fact that we have some guys that shoot mid-range jumpers. Sometimes they miss, so that kind of thing, floaters and stuff like that. It's not as close to the basket as some of the other attacks that we had with the older team when LeBron was constantly getting to the rim. Of course, Westbrook. So, it's one of those things where it's like we have a different unit. We got to get used to the fact that we have different guys. Guys like Vanderbilt, they provide different things. Malik Beasley, we just got to respect that. But at the end of the day, I want to see us get out in the fast break, get to the line, shoot better. I mean, not get to the line, but get to the rim, and just shoot better from the field. Since we attack so much in the paint, it's really a successful thing. And another thing that I want to say is we play like a team that can win in this era. The teams that are succeeding, in my humble opinion, do a lot of damage on the inside and are pretty much efficient from the outside without overshooting. That's what I tend to see. Teams like Memphis, for example, when they're fully healthy, fully out there with Ja, they want to get you on the inside. Score, get you about 60, 70 points in the paint, and they're going to hit everything else from behind the arc that comes after that, around that. But the majority of the time, they're trying to outscore you from inside. Golden State last year, believe it or not, same thing. When they won a championship, believe it or not, same thing. That's what I see us doing. That's what I've seen us do all year. But for the first half of the year, of course, it was by necessity because we couldn't necessarily shoot. But now I think it's being done correctly. We are not shooting over whatever it is. I don't think we shot over 33s last night, which is good for us. But continuing to attack in the paint. Try to make sure that you obviously are attempting more 2s than 3s. You know what I mean? And putting yourself in a position to make those. Get in there and try to draw fouls. Get in there and make guys foul you. And I just think that's a real good way for the Lakers or any team that wants to win in this era to succeed. Inside attack, punishing teams in the paint. The Denver Nuggets, the same thing. They had a game where I think they scored like 101 points in the paint or something crazy like that with Jokic and those guys going nuts. That's a type of way to win right now. So that's something I'm thinking about. Sacramento, same thing with Sabonis and Fox and those guys. They attack you on the inside, and then they have elite shooters that can also destroy you on the outside, which is why they are a dark horse team that we need to take very seriously. Given the fact that we're in a play-in tournament, people are saying, oh, you probably want to play Sac. I don't think so. Not to say that we're going to lose that series, but I'm saying there are other matchups that I think are probably a little more favorable than having to go up against Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter. The way that we've been defending the perimeter, I don't want to see them for 7 games, to be honest with you. Sabonis, he's going to be a tough series for them because I think they're going to be a bit undersized trying to deal with Anthony Davis, Bamba, and some of our guys. But they do have the centers to throw at us. If they don't shrink their bench, they got the biggest bench in the world. So I don't fear the Kings, but I think they're an actual deal, and I do expect for them to do damage in the first round, depending on who they run into. So that's where I'm at with that. I just think they should be taken seriously. There's a lot to say, man. The Western Conference with Phoenix coming along. I think as long as Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are healthy, they're going to win most of the games they're in. Don't matter who they're playing against. I think they're that great. My question is can they stay healthy? And I lean toward the idea that they're probably not. I don't trust their core, not even for a short amount of time. I just don't. But we'll see. In the long term, if they can just build around Devin Booker and Chris and Devin Durant, I think they're going to be ridiculous. Ridiculous going forward. Next year, the year after that, and the year after that. Depending on how they build around them, which I don't think it's going to be hard to do. If they just shrink it down to those two, get Chris Paul's horrible contract out of there, and DeAndre Ayton's out of there too. So these are things I'm thinking about that, the Western Conference. Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, they just don't have a strong enough team. They're one of those teams if you attack them in the paint like what I'm saying we do, we'll get them out of here quickly. I don't even think they're going to win 2 games against us. I really don't. I really, really don't. So these are the type of things I'm just thinking about. The Clippers, same thing. I don't trust them. I don't like them where they're at. I'm not saying I'm excited to play them because I don't know that we match up with them as well as I'd like to. In fact, I don't believe we match up with them great. But as far as them against the field, they're not going anywhere, man. They're not. They don't have a strong enough interior presence themselves. Not happening. So, we got some things to think about, man. One thing I didn't tell you guys is that we play Phoenix twice. I don't think I've mentioned that. I just took a look at the schedule and realized there are 2 Phoenix matchups, 2 Utah matchups, Bulls matchups, got Mavericks again. Of course, the Thunder, I think we see twice more or something like that. It's just a lot, man. We got another Timberwolves matchup, So these are all things that we're looking at. Los Angeles Lakers are expected to win most of those games, except for maybe 1 or 2 of those Phoenix matchups. It's gonna be kind of tough to beat those guys, but if we're fully healthy, we get Bron back. I don't think we got a problem with anybody. I'm serious. Nobody. The team is showing an immense amount of depth. It's already showing the world that it can withstand not 1 but 2 and 3 injuries and still beat teams that they need to beat in front of them. Obviously they're not fully healthy, but they're not nearly as hobbled as we are. Not nearly. None of these teams. So that we've seen and beat. So at this point, it's like, all right, when we get everybody back, I don't know that we're not the favorite. I don't know that. Not giving away this team is playing hobbled with everybody missing. I don't know we're not the favorite to win the whole thing. So there's certain teams that obviously you have to respect. Certain teams, I don't think, like I said, we don't match up well as maybe some other matchups. So if we can avoid certain teams, obviously we need to do that. But I think teams need to be avoiding us too. I really believe that. I think most teams need to be avoiding us. In fact, all teams need to be avoiding us, honestly. So health is in the way of our situation, as it always is, but depth is there, and the fact that we have Anthony Davis playing at this level, if that can continue, I don't expect for us to lose too much. I really don't expect us to lose too much. He's masking a lot of mistakes, and we're not making too many mistakes, so that's even better. You're finding stuff out of Troy Brown, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves is stepping forward. You're finding stuff out of guys, man. So you're given the fact that your best shooter is bricking, and we saw what he did when he first got here. He can win a game by himself. We're one of the most dangerous teams. That's just what it is. We're doing all of this with Malik Beasley playing like garbage. Is that going to continue in the playoffs? I don't think so. I really don't think so. So this is going to be a team that, if they can just find their way to continue to do what it is they've been doing, they'll be fine. I really believe that. The roster is constructed so very well at this point, and I think Rob Pelinka has had a lot of time to really consider all the different ways to make sure this team could do what it is it needed to do. We had a whole off season and basically half season to pick and plug different concepts to make sure that we had everything we needed to close this season strong. And I think it was understood that we were going to be fighting from behind to get into the playoffs, and we were going to need to be able to withstand injury. And I think this team did everything it needed to do. Rob Pelinka and his guys did everything they needed to do to cross their T's and dot their I's for what this core needed from a unit around them. And I don't see too many things wrong with this roster. I really don't. I think this is one of the best constructed rosters in all of the NBA, and I think it's because they've had that much time to dream it up. I really believe that. They said, okay, we need this, and then proceeded to figure out every bit they needed to put that together. And so, I don't know, man. I can't say I'm unhappy in any way when it comes to this roster and how it was constructed after the trade. It's not a whole lot it's missing. And like I said, for me, the only really difference is how I would run it is I would be using more of the G League guys. You would see Scottie Pippen, you would see Cole Swider already. They would be a part of this roster. That would be the difference. But other than that, I'm pretty dang happy. I want the Lakers to continue to think about what they're going to do in regards to just focusing in on the teams that are left. It's not, they haven't done anything that make me feel like they haven't been doing that. So we're on the right track. So yeah, salute to Kobe Bennett. I want to always sing his praises every single time we can do a Laker video if I can remember to. And with Powell's night being last night, I definitely don't want to forget it today. That was a wonderful ceremony. And looking at the jerseys up there, you know, having had him up there, of course, now looking at Kobe's and looking at the fact that he had two jerseys up there, it took my brain somewhere else. Because I know Bron played in 23, of course, for a year with us, or 2, 3, however many years, wearing number 23. And now he's wearing number 6. And I'm asking myself, are the Lakers planning on putting two jerseys up there for him? And if so, are we cool with that? It's not that I have a problem with that necessarily. It's just that when you have two up there for Kobe, it's because he played 2 full careers as a Laker with those jerseys on. Not just a couple years. Like literally 7 years, one half, or 10 years, one half, 10 years, other, that kind of thing. So it's like so much was accomplished with him wearing both of those jerseys. I'm not comfortable putting two jerseys up for another player just because they wore 2 uniforms, numbers, and happen to be worthy of being up there. I'm not comfortable with that. And so if Kobe wasn't up there in that way, I would be much more comfortable with that. But the fact that he's up there for that, that's like something you can't just be giving people just because they want to switch their number every couple years and happen to deserve to be up there. So for me, I ain't comfortable with that. I want him to pick one number and go up with 1. I definitely want him up. But we ain't going to be doing 2 numbers for everybody who wants to do 2 numbers just because they wore 2 numbers. And you want to get 2 jerseys. Nah, we ain't doing that. We are not doing that. So I just wanted to establish my opinion about that. It ain't no disrespect to Bron. This is how I would feel about anybody who did that. But I'm just wondering if that was his intention. And if so, he needs to know, no, we ain't, no. With respect and love, brother. Nah, we ain't doing that. So I just want to put my opinion out there because it just, I was thinking like, does he think we're going to put up 23 and 6? And if so, is that what Genie's up for? And is that like expected of us to like accept? Because he's going to get resistance for real for that. He's going to really get resistance for that. So with all due respect to Bron, please pick one number, sir. Please. Just one. So that's what I got to say, man. Just an opinion piece. Nobody got to agree with that. BDL44. I thank you all for watching. Wow.